Welcome to my channel. You've shared some really interesting info about foods that can help us, keep our brain power up as we get older.
That's right, focusing on things like preventing memory loss, staying sharp.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like you, the listener, are really keen to find practical ways, things you can actually do with diet to support your cognitive health.
hmm We've gathered insights on 6 specific food groups. We actually added leafy greens to our original list of 5,
Ah, good addition.
and we'll look at how they help brain function, especially, after 60.
Okay, so our aim here is to unpack all this, highlight the really compelling stuff, the actionable advice you can use pretty much right away to feel, well, sharper, more focused.
Let's get into it.
All right, let's explore these brain-boosting foods. First up, blueberries. They're more than just tasty, right?
Oh, definitely. What's really key with blueberries is they're packed with antioxidants, specifically anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins, okay.
Yeah, they give them that blue color, but more importantly, they help neutralize unstable molecules in the brain. It helps reduce oxidative stress.
Oxidative stress. So it's like these little berries are defenders for our brain cells. Is that a fair way to put it?
That's a great way to think about it, yeah. And the research we looked at, it's not just suggestive, it actually shows regular blueberry consumption can lead to real improvements, better memory, maybe even slowing down brain aging.
Wow. Okay, and there was a specific study mentioned that caught my eye. What did that one find?
Yeah, that was interesting. It was a study with older adults, and those who consistently ate blueberries showed, well, noticeable improvements in memory and overall cognitive function. And this was just after a few months.
Just a few months. That's pretty quick.
It suggests a real impact, yeah.
And it's not just the anthocyanins doing the work, is it?
No, that's right. Blueberries are also a good source of vitamin C. Think of it as another layer of protection for those brain cells, fighting off those damaging free radicals we mentioned.
So adding blueberries seems pretty straightforward, like sprinkle them on oatmeal, yogurt, smoothies.
Exactly. Super versatile, which is always a plus. Okay, so now let's shift to another really vital group for brain health: salmon and other fatty fish.
Ah, salmon. I do like salmon. What makes it so good for the brain?
It really comes down to the omega-3 fatty acids. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, these oily fish are loaded with them.
Omega-3s, right.
And what's important here is that these omega-3s, especially one called DHA, are major building blocks, like literally part of our brain cell membranes.
Building blocks.
Yeah, they help keep those membranes fluid and functioning well, which means better communication between brain cells.
So they're not just structure, they're helping the messages get through.
Precisely. And think about this. About 60% of our brain is actually fat, and a big chunk of that is omega-3s. They're fundamental.
Okay. And beyond just the structure, do they offer protection too?
Absolutely. The research suggests omega-3 support overall cognitive function, and they might help protect against age-related decline. A big part of that is reducing inflammation in the brain.
Inflammation. That seems to come up a lot with brain health.
It does. Chronic inflammation is seen as a major factor in things like Alzheimer's and dementia.
And the sources mentioned studies linking higher omega-3 intake with better memory, lower risk of those diseases. That seems significant.
It is significant. We're talking primarily about DHA and EPA. Those are the key omega-3s in fatty fish. DHA especially is really concentrated in brain tissue.
Okay. And salmon has something else important too.
Yes, vitamin D, salmon's a great source. And vitamin D is, well, it's increasingly recognized as vital for cognitive health. Low levels have been linked to a higher risk of cognitive decline.
So deficiency is something to watch out for.
Definitely.
How often should we aim for salmon then?
Generally, aiming for a few servings of fatty fish a week is a good target. If that's tough for you, omega-3 supplements are an option. And making sure you get enough vitamin D, maybe through supplements too if needed.
Right, makes sense. Okay, next up, walnuts. Often hear about those for brain health.
Walnuts. Yeah, they're small but mighty for the brain. And interestingly, they have those omega-3s like salmon, but they also bring antioxidants and vitamin E to the table.
So like a triple threat.
Kind of. That combination is really effective at fighting oxidative stress and inflammation in the brain, both key factors in protecting against cognitive decline.
And again, there's research specifically on walnuts.
Yes, studies show walnuts can improve memory and cognitive function. One study we looked at found older adults who ate walnuts regularly did better on cognitive tests.
Better scores, okay. And it's not just the headline nutrients, right? There's more.
That's right. Walnuts also have polyphenols. These are plant compounds that add even more anti-inflammatory and brain-boosting effects.
I've also heard walnuts are good for the heart. How does that connect?
That's a really important link. A healthy heart means a healthy blood supply to the brain. Good blood flow brings the oxygen and nutrients the brain needs. So, the heart healthy aspects of walnuts, like improving blood vessel function, directly benefit your brain too.
Ah, so it's all connected, the heart-brain axis.
Exactly. So, a handful of walnuts is a great snack for both.
Good to know. Okay, let's move to something maybe a bit more fun. Dark chocolate.
Ah, yes, dark chocolate. Sounds like a treat, right? But we need to be specific here.
Right, not just any chocolate bar.
No, we're talking dark chocolate, at least 70% cocoa. The magic ingredient here is flavonoids. They're another type of powerful antioxidant.
Flavonoids. And how do they help the brain?
Well, a key thing they do is improve blood flow to the brain. Better blood flow means more oxygen, more nutrients, which the brain needs for energy and just optimal function.
Okay, better fuel delivery. And the sources mentioned memory benefits, too.
They did. Some studies suggest that regular moderate intake of dark chocolate can actually boost things like how quickly you process information, memory retention, even your mood.
Mood as well.
No,
Interesting.
and it's not just about maintaining what you have. Some research hints that flavonoids might even encourage the growth of new brain cells.
Neurogenesis.
Exactly, and strengthening connections between existing cells,
Mhm.
which is vital for learning and memory.
That's fascinating. And I think I read something about blood pressure, too.
Correct. Those antioxidants can help lower blood pressure. And since high blood pressure is a risk factor for cognitive decline, that's another win. Even a small amount daily could be beneficial.
So a little square of dark chocolate isn't just guilt-free, it might actually be helping.
In moderation, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears to a breakfast staple.
Eggs. Good old eggs.
Yeah.
Protein source, but what about the brain specifically?
Eggs are incredibly nutrient-dense, affordable, and really important for cognitive health, especially as we age. The standout nutrient here is choline.
Choline. Okay, what does choline do?
Choline is absolutely essential for making acetylcholine. That's a neurotransmitter, a chemical messenger in the brain that's crucial for memory and learning.
Acetylcholine. Okay.
And the sources point out that low levels of acetylcholine are linked to memory problems, even potentially Alzheimer's. So getting enough choline is really key.
So eggs directly support those memory chemicals.
Forgot.
And they have other good stuff, too.
Oh, yes. Eggs also provide vitamin B12, important for nerve cell health. Vitamin D, which we mentioned helps reduce brain inflammation and is linked to better memory. And folate, which helps with blood flow to the brain.
Wow, they really are packed. And the protein itself helps, too, I imagine.
It does. Protein supports the actual structure of brain cells. And like you said, they're super versatile. Scrambled, boiled, omelets, easy to add in.
What about the cholesterol, though? That's always the question with eggs.
It's a fair question. Eggs do contain cholesterol, but the consensus from current research is that for most healthy people, eating eggs in moderation doesn't really negatively affect blood cholesterol levels. The focus really should be on their overall nutrient density and brain benefits.
Okay, that's good to hear. So don't write off eggs. Now, we've covered a lot. What's the final group we need to talk about?
The last category, our sixth one, is leafy green vegetables. Think spinach, kale, collard greens. These are just loaded with brain-friendly vitamins and antioxidants.
Ah, the greens. Knew they'd be in here somewhere. What makes them stand out for the brain?
It's the specific mix of nutrients, things like vitamin K, lutein, beta-carotene, and folate. They all play distinct, important roles.
Vitamin K. I know it's for blood clotting.
It is, but it's also involved in making certain fats called sphingolipids, which are essential for brain cell structure. Higher vitamin K intake has actually been linked to better memory performance in some studies.
Interesting. And lutein. I usually hear about that for eyes.
True, it's great for eye health. But lutein is also a really powerful antioxidant in the brain. It can improve brain function and seems to help slow down age-related cognitive decline by protecting against that oxidative stress we keep mentioning.
Okay. And folate, we mentioned that with eggs, but greens are a big source too.
A very good source. And remember, folate helps lower homocysteine levels. High homocysteine is linked to a greater risk of cognitive decline and dementia.
So leafy greens offer kind of broad spectrum protection.
That's a good way to put it. And again, like the others, they're pretty easy to work into meals, salads, smoothies, cooked as a side dish.
Right. Okay, so let's quickly recap. We had blueberries, antioxidants, memory,
Salmon and fatty fish, omega-3s, vitamin D, cognitive function.
walnuts, omega-3s again, plus antioxidants, vitamin E, memory,
Dark chocolate, 70% plus, flavonoids, blood flow, cognition.
eggs, choline for memory and learning, plus other key nutrients.
And finally, leafy greens packed with vitamins like K, folate, lutein for long-term protection.
Wow, that's a powerful list.
It really is. And the key takeaway, I think, from all the sources is that you don't need to overhaul everything overnight. Small, consistent changes can make a real difference to your mental sharpness and memory as you age.
So it's not about some extreme diet.
Not at all. The advice is pretty consistent. Start small. Pick one or two of these foods that appeal to you, find ways to incorporate them regularly, and build from there.
And the potential payoff is feeling sharper, more focused, better memory.
Exactly. Better cognitive function over time. And it's truly never too late to start focusing on your brain health through what you eat. These changes can have really lasting positive effects.
So if you're listening, maybe pause for a second and think,
Yeah.
which of these 6 food groups stood out to you most? What's one small thing you could try adding to your routine this week?
Yeah, that's a great point. And maybe think about this too. Consider the cumulative effect. What happens if you consistently include even just one of these food groups over the next few months or years? What subtle but maybe significant changes might you notice in your own mental clarity or recall?